Hello, ladies and gents. Welcome to tonight's episode of Morte D'Arthur. Tonight, we return once more to that sorrowful night, Sir Palomides' most wretched and unchivalrous night that we seem to have ever come across, who is now, even as we speak, ladies and gentlemen, lamenting his bad fortunes by a well somewhere, weeping because he's been defeated. So hello, good evening everyone. Hello Sari, hello Karen, hello Rachel, hello Dawn, hello Christian, hello Black Rabbit, hello Danny. Welcome everyone. I've missed you guys as well. But we're here. That's the nice thing. The day. I like being able to do this at the end of the day. It's a nice thing. I have a nice hectic day and I roll into the evening and I get to see you guys. I think I'm much happier doing this show at the end of the day than at the start of it. You're a nice, welcome sight for sore eyes as we roll into the evening, which is what you want at the end of the day. But if your name is Simon and you tell tales, that's what you want. My hair's doing a strange thing today. There. I was just being a bit too orderly there. No, let's maybe smooth a bit of it over there, shall we? Let's. God knows what it's doing. God knows what it's doing. Anyway, the hair seems to. Hair's having one of its funny days. We'll make it behave tomorrow. But good evening, it does. It has immense personality, Surrey. Immense personality. To the point where sometimes I believe it's out to get me. I won't, Rabbit. Ever since last time when I accidentally stabbed myself on the show, I've been wearing a Kevlar vest so that I don't stab myself in the back again. Oh, Dawn, my left finger! This little finger here has more honour than Sir Palomides at this point. Wretched horseslayer that he is. Scorn upon him, scorn after scorn, I say. We don't have any time for Sir Palomides on this show, even though tonight's episode is dedicated for him. I want you to know that every time that I mention Sir Palomides tonight, I want you guys to boo and hiss in the audience. Yes! Every time we get a Sir Palomides on the show tonight, give me a boo and give me a hiss, for he is the lousiest knight that we've ever had the misfortune to let onto the pages of this fine book. You can tell I'm Team Tristan through and through. Anyway, ladies and gents, without much further ado, and I love the emojis for that. Those are some nice emojis. That's right, we've got the boo and the hiss emojis. Ladies and gents, let's get into tonight's show. So, what's been happening? What's been happening? Well, ladies and gents, we have spent the past few nights at the castle of Lonazep and the great tournament that King Arthur held there. The tournament, which is the greatest that Britain has ever seen, was meant to find the greatest knight of them all. On the first day, it looked as if Sir Palomides might win the honour of the tournament. But oh no, only through the fact that he was the one who slew Lancelot's horse did he ever get close to that title. On the second day, then did Tristram prove himself to be the greatest knight on the field. And on the third day, did Sir Lancelot prove himself to be the greatest knight on the field. So that afterwards, after all the dust had settled, the crowd awarded the great honour of the tournament to Lancelot and Tristram equally, as they were both knights of great honour. How did Palomides respond to all of this, ladies and gents? How indeed? He responded by proving that the man has no honour whatsoever. However, he responded by calling out Sir Tristram and Sir Lancelot as traitors and wretches. And then he stormed off with the King of Scotland and the King of Wales to cry like the horse slayer he is, and weep and lament that he was not a better knight. Well, for sure, if he had been the kind of knight that was worthy of winning the field. Hello, Herbert, come in. If he had been the kind of knight who was worthy of having so much attention, so much fame, so much honour, then perhaps he would have treated his fellows better to begin with. Ladies and gents, let's get into tonight's show. Now, we leave Queen Guinevere speaking to Sir Bluebriss and Sir Ector, and we speak of Sir Palomides. For Sir Palomides rode and lodged with him 2 kings, and wherefore the kings were heavy to suffer his grief. Then the King of Ireland sent a man of his to Sir Palomides, and that king gave him a great courser. Hello, Amanda! And the King of Scotland gave him great gifts, and fain they would have had Sir Palomides to have stayed with them, but in no way would he stay. And so he departed, and he rode as adventures would guide him until it was high noon. Then, in a forest by a well, Sir Palomides saw where there lay a fair and wounded knight, and his horse was bound by him. And that knight made the greatest sorrow that ever he had heard a man make, for ever he wept, and therefore he sighed as though he would die. Then Sir Palomides rode near him, and saluted him mildly, and said, "Fair knight, why wail you so? Let me lie down and wail with you, for, have no doubt, I am much heavier with grief than you are. For I dare say," said Palomides, "that my sorrow is 100-fold more than yours, and therefore let us complain either to each other." "First," said the wounded knight, "I require you, tell me your name, for if you are not one of the noble knights of the Round Table, then you shall never know my name whatsoever becomes of me." "Fair knight," said Palomides, "such as I am, be it better or be it worse, know you well that my name is Sir Palomides, son and heir unto King Aslabor, and Sir Saphir and Sir Segwades are my 2 brethren. And know you well, as for myself, I was never christened, but my 2 brethren are truly christened." "O noble knight," said the knight, "well is me that I have met you, and know you well. My name is Epinogris, the king's son of Northumberland." "Now sit down," said Epinogris, "and let us either complain to each other." And then Sir Palomides began his complaint. "Now, shall I tell you," said Palomides, "what woe I endure? I love the fairest queen and lady that ever bore life, and know you well, her name is the Fair Isolde. She is King Mark's wife of Cornwall." "That's great folly," said a Pinot Gris, "to love Queen Isolde. For one of the best knights of the whole world loves her already, and that's Sir Tristram de Lyon." "That's truth," said Palomides, "for no man knows that better than I do. For I have been in Sir Tristram's fellowship this month, and with the fair Isolde there as well. And alas," said Palomides, "unhappy man that I am now, I have lost the fellowship of Sir Tristram forever, and the love of the fair Isolde forever, and I am never like to see her again. And Sir Tristram and I will now forever be each other's mortal enemies." "Well," said a Pinot Gris, "since you love the fair Isolde, loves she you ever again by anything that you could think of or know, or else did you rejoice her ever in any pleasure?" "Nay, by my knighthood," said Palomides, "I never espied that ever she loved me more than all the world, nor never had I any pleasure with her. But the last day she gave me such a terrible rebuke, the worst that ever I have had, the which shall never go from my heart, and yet I well deserved that rebuke, for I was not knightly, and therefore I have lost the love of her and of Sir Tristram forever. And I have many times enforced myself to do many neat deeds for the fair Isolde's sake, and she was the cause of my worship winning." "Alas," said Palomides, "now have I lost all the worship that ever I won. For never shall before me such prowess as I had when I was in the fellowship of Tristram." "Nay, nay," said a Pinot Gris, "your sorrow is but japes to my sorrow. For I rejoiced my lady, and I won her with my hands, and lost her again. Alas, that day! Thus, first I won her," said a Pinot Gris, "for my lady was an earl's daughter, and as the earl and 2 knights came from the tournament of Lonazep, for her sake I set upon this earl, and on his 2 knights, my lady there being present, and so by fortune there I slew the earl and one of the knights, and the other knight fled, and so that night I had my lady, who was the dead earl's daughter. And on the morn, as she and I reposed us at this well side, there came here to me an errant knight, and his name was Ryedale le Prusse, a hardy knight. And this Sir Helier, he challenged me to fight for my lady. And then we went to battle, first upon horse and after on foot. And at the last, Helier wounded me so sore he left me for dead. And so my lady left me and went off with him. And thus my sorrow's more than yours, for I have rejoiced, and you never rejoiced in the comfort of a lady. That is truth, said Palomides. But since I can never recover myself, I promise you, if I meet with Sir Helier, I shall get you your lady again, or else he shall have to beat me. Then Sir Palomides made Sir Epinogris to take his horse, and so they rode to a hermitage. There Sir Epinogris rested himself, and in the meanwhile Sir Palomides walked privily out to rest himself under the leaves, and there besides he saw a knight come riding with a shield that he had seen Sir Ector de Maris bear beforehand. And there came after him 10 knights. And so these 10 knights rested under the leaves for shade. And anon, after, there came a knight with a green shield, and therein a white lion, and he led a lady upon a palfrey. But this knight, with the green shield that seemed to be master of the 10 knights, he rode fiercely after Sir Helier, for it was he that hurt Sir Epinogris, and when he came nigh this Sir Helier, he bade him to defend his lady. "I'll defend her," said Helier. And so they ran together so mightily that either of these knights smote down each other's horse and all to the earth. And then they won up lightly, drew their swords and their shields, and lashed together mightily more, for more than an hour. All this was seen by Sir Palomides, who beheld it. But ever at the last the knight with Sir Ector's shield was bigger. And at the last, this knight smote Sir Helier down, and then the knight unlaced his helm to have stricken off his head, and then he cried, "Mercy! Mercy!" And he prayed to have his life saved, and bade his opponent to take his lady. Then Sir Palomides dressed himself up, because he knew well that the same lady was Epinogris' lady, and he had promised to help his friend. Then Sir Palomides went straight to that lady, took her by the hand, and asked her whether she knew a knight called Epinogris. "Oh, alas," she said, "alas that ever he knew me, or I him. For I have, for his sake, lost my worship, and also his life grieves me most of all." "Not so, lady," said Palomides. "Come with me, for here is Epinogris in this hermitage." "Oh, woe is me," said the lady, "that he should still live." "Whither wilt thou with that lady?" said the knight with Sir Ector's shield. "I will do with this damsel whatever I will," said Palomides. "Will you now?" said Sir Ector. "You speak." I dropped my sword. "You speak overly large, and though you seem to have me at advantage, because you saw me do battle only lately, you know, Sir Knight, that if you think to take that lady away from me so lightly, then I think never not. If you were as good a knight as Sir Lancelot, or even Sir Tristram, or Sir Palomides, perhaps. But you shall win her dearer than ever I did." And so Sir Ector de Maris and Palomides went to battle on foot, and there they gave each other many sad strokes, and either one wounded the other passingly sore, and thus they fought for still more than an hour. Then Sir Palomides had marvelled at what knight he might be that was so strong and so well breathed during, and thus said Palomides, Knight, I require of you to tell me your name. Know you well, said the knight, and I dare tell you my name, so that you will tell me your name. I will, said Palomides. Truly, said that knight, my name is Sapphire, son of King Aslabo. And Sir Palomides and Sir Segwades, they're my brothers. I am not Sir Palomides. Now, tell me your name, said Sir Palomides, the liar. Then his opponent kneeled down upon his knees and prayed him of mercy. And then he unlaced his helm, for it was in fact Sir Sapphire all along, Palomides' brother. And either one kissed each other weeping. And in the meanwhile, Sir Epinogris arose out of his bed, heard those strokes, and so armed himself to help Sir Palomides if need be. And there, ladies and gents, we will end tonight's show. Sir Palomides has met his brother, Sir Palomides lying half the time, Sir Palomides having defeated a couple of knights, and met Sir Epinogris, the most cowardly, wretched, little, snivelling knight we've ever had the misfortune. A knight so snivelling and wretched that he made Palomides look chivalric for once. And that took some doing, ladies and gents. No mean feat. Anyway, thank you so much, ladies and gents, for coming tonight. Thank you, Sari. Thank you. It's wonderful to see you all. So thank you, Sari. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Rachel and Dawn. Thank you, Christian. Thank you, Black Rabbit. Thank you, Danny and Herbert. Thank you, Anita. Wonderful. Wonderful to see you. I do hope you enjoyed tonight's show. Tomorrow night we'll be back with more of the same as we find just what happens when Palomides is taken captive and Sir Tristram, his mortal enemy, sets out to rescue him. How's that for humiliation? All to come tomorrow night, ladies and gents. I will see you then. It will be great fun. And coming up tonight in a few minutes' time, I should say coming up tonight, we are doing some William Butler Yeats. And I've developed hiccups. Possibly too much smiting and wailing. So I've developed hiccups and we're going to do some Yeats. Can I manage to cure my hiccups in the next few... Bloody hell. Oh, this is annoying. We've been doing this for, I think, 8-9 months now, possibly 8 months. We've been doing this for 8 months and we have never once had to deal with hiccups on the show. And now, for the first time in like 310 shows, for the first time in 310 shows, I've got hiccups. Ladies and gents, I'm going to go downstairs and grab my Yeats from the shelf, and then I'll see you back up here in a few minutes and we'll do some Yeats. See you shortly. I've got the drink. I'm going to do the drinking. Drinking is on hand. Herbert, I will try the water. I'll try it, Chris, we'll go. Now, I just let it pass. See you in a few minutes, guys. For Poetry Live.